Hey, welcome back everyone. I am Matt Larson, and the letter I'm about to read you comes from a very influential person in the liberty movement. I'm going to keep his name anonymous because he is doing some pretty powerful things, and I don't want to mess up his chance on getting in and actually making a significant good change in the Republican Party. Now, I'm going to read it exactly how he wrote it. And definitely all the links and everything that you will need that I talk about in this letter will be down below in the description. It starts off like this. The Grassroots website, stepdownnow.com, calls for the resignation of Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus. This was launched late last month. The site calls for the participation of all Republicans who object to Mr. Priebus's handling of the disastrous 2012 elections, his role in the scripted and improper vote at the National Convention, which ushered in Rule 12, Rule 16, and Rule 40, or any of the myriad of other reasons which dictate that he step down. It offers information about the growing movement to rid the party of Reince Priebus. Details about contacting RNC Chair Priebus to ask him to step down, help writing your National Committee members to urge them to vote for anyone but Reince Priebus, and methods by which to pass the information on to friends and relatives. What we need is a leader who can not only balance the RNC checkbook, but provide a roadmap out of the madness the RNC finds itself in today. Will no one stand up and challenge him? The RNC winter meeting will run from Wednesday, January 23rd to the Saturday, January 26th at the Westin Hotel in Uptown Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, during this meeting, the RNC will hold a vote for the new chair of the Republican National Committee. At this time, no one has announced that they will challenge current chairman Reince Priebus. We ask our visitors to submit names of potential candidates to challenge Reince Priebus, and in return, we'll work to contact these individuals and urge them to stand up. You responded, and here are the three most submitted names to challenge and replace Reince Priebus: Ron Paul, Mark Willis, and Jim DeMint. Now, other notable nominations were Michael Steele, Steve Munisteri, and Justin Amash. To be officially nominated for chairman of the Republican National Committee, a candidate must secure nominations from at least 2 RNC members from 3 different states. The full body of the RNC consists of 168 members. According to the recent communications from Chairman Reince Priebus, he claims that he has support of over 150 members already. A petition is available for people to sign. They are encouraged to use all or any portion of the petition and send it along to Reince Priebus, as well as their state GOP National Committee members. The petition reads as follows. Dear Mr. Priebus, as an active and voting Republican, I'm asking you to please step down, as your credibility and your intentions are in question and your philosophy and actions are apparently counter to those our party says we espouse. One of our core beliefs as an organization is decentralized governance. Yet, you have been at the helm as we navigated towards a decidedly centralized party. If we believe in a government from the bottom up, changing the course of the Republican Party itself to work from the top down is hypocritical. We in the Big Tent Party should be moving towards inclusion. Yet, you have presided over the Republican Party as it has become more and more exclusive. We have lost huge numbers of party members. It is true, but even more importantly, we have seen under your direction rule changes at the whim of the RNC, while self-decisions at the top have not been just tolerated, but condoned. Under your watch, we have become the party which instituted a rule that a presumptive nominee, before he or she is voted as nominee, will henceforth have the power to override the decisions of the state's legal elections at their individual conventions and replace delegates that unelected presumptive nominees prefer. The preamble to the rules of the Republican Party, as voted in by duly elected members of the appropriate committee of delegates from all states in the Union, reads, Be it resolved that the Republican Party is the party of the open door. Ours is the party of liberty, the party of equality. of opportunity for all, and favoritism for none. It is the intent and purpose of these rules to encourage and allow the broadest possible participation of all voters in the Republican Party activities at all levels, and to assure that the Republican Party is open and accessible to all Americans. It is time, Mr. Chairman, for the Republican National Committee to be chaired by someone who will adhere to, promote, and act in accordance with the principles set out in the preamble and other fundamental documents. It is time for the Republican National Committee to be chaired by someone who would stand upon principle when the RNC deems it appropriate to make a one-size-fits-all rule for the states and territories, who would publicly condemn Rule 16, which forces all sovereign states to change the procedures by which presidential candidates are chosen. Time for the Republican National Committee to be chaired by someone who would stand upon principle when votes are governed not by the ayes and nays, but by teleprompter, as was the case at the Tampa Convention. It is time for the Republican National Committee to be chaired by someone who would stand up upon principle when the voice votes in Tampa were ruled as yeas, despite the fact that the vote was too close to call. It is time for the Republican National Committee to be chaired by someone who would not refuse to do a roll call vote, and instead states, without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table, rather than doing the right thing. It's time for the Republican National Committee to be chaired by someone who would stand upon principle when the Rules Committee chair flees the convention so as not to have to accept the minority report. It's time for the Republican National Committee to be chaired by someone who would stand upon principle when the convention chair refuses to hear the delegates on the floor, when they had points of information and objections. It is time for the Republican National Committee to be chaired by someone who is not you, Mr. Chair. Time is now to take a stand against the top-down, centralized, heavy-handed approach of a party who has lost touch with the grassroots. For those who are not aware, the RNC winter meeting may be a first opportunity for the grassroots to express their displeasure with the newly adopted RNC rules coming out of the Tampa coronation. That meeting will take place January 23rd through the 26th, and the voting will take place on the 25th. Now, there are states that have either passed or have pending resolutions that deal with the 2012 Republican National Convention rule changes. These states are New Hampshire, which is passed, Nevada, which is passed, Texas, which is passed, Minnesota, which is passed, North Carolina, which is passed, Maine, which is pending, Oklahoma, pending, Pennsylvania, pending, and Colorado, pending. Now that's the whole letter right there. I'm going to include the sample resolution in the description box. You can take that and basically just change it per state, and it should work out good for you guys. If you have any other questions or anything, I will try to see if I can fit this whole letter down below in the description. I know that there is a character limit. Hopefully we keep it under that limit so we can have it all in there. If not, I will see if somebody can whip up a tiny URL and we can put this letter on there also. This is probably also on stepdownnow.com also. So for now, I ask that you guys please thumbs up this video and share it with as many people as possible so we can have that impact down at the winter meeting for the RNC. As always, I'm Matt Larson. Go run, Paul. Peace.